Hey everyone, it's me, Ari Does It. Just call me Rashid. I'm an anthropologist and sociologist. Coming you with a short video. Well, I'm gonna keep it short as possible. Exploiters. In society, you're told that if you exploit other people, you're a bad person. Which is true. That means it shows lack of character. You should have there should be mutual consideration every human interaction. That's true. Problem is, society itself is exploitation, but it's exploitation we agree not to admit as exploitation. Only certain sectors of society where the exploitation gets out of hand, those sectors are policed, and those open exploiters, for example, drug dealers, pimps, money launderers, human traffickers, those are the ones who are arrested and put in prison. And when that happens, people get some narcissistic relief, think, oh, we're good people because we have a police force keeping us safe. Truth being told, society itself is exploitation. Now, let's talk about the red light districts, let me say prostitution. And let's talk about the trade in illegal narcotics, the drug trade. If you would ask who is to blame for prostitution and drug trafficking, people say, oh, the drug cartels are responsible for it, and the drug dealers were selling the drugs. People say the pimps are, and the kidnappers that traffic those women. But hold on a minute. When it comes to prostitution, no brothel and no red light district can function without customers. Where are those customers coming from? They come from the local community. Sometimes they're tourists, but often it's the local community. And who are the customers? Those are men who have wives at home, children, or they have long-term sexual partners, or they may be businessmen or medical doctors. Anyway, they're men from the community. So why are those men from the community going to the prostitutes? It is because there's sexual disharmony in the community. And this is something quite personal, quite sensitive that people don't want to address. So prostitution serves as an outlet for the sexual anger that builds up in the community. So those prostitutes become the recipients of the sexual anger in the community. And because the sexual anger of the community is dumped inside and on those prostitutes, the rest of the population, mainly the rest of the female population, does not experience that sexual anger. So, if you would arrest all pimps and all human traffickers and shut down all those brothels and red light districts, what's going to happen? There is no outlet anymore for that sexual anger. So that sexual anger is going to explode in the community. And you're going to have an increase in domestic violence and an increase in other types of horrible crimes in the community. So, society is a movement of escaping. I already explained that on this channel. So society has no interest in solving prostitution, because society cannot solve their own sexual dysfunction, or the sexual dysfunction of the public, I mean. So the public benefits from leeching off the prostitutes. Now, you have the open exploiters, those are the pimps and the human traffickers when it comes to prostitution. And then you have the hidden exploiters, that's the rest of the population that benefits psychologically. In the sense that if you're a woman, live in a community, and you're not in prostitution, being exploited by pimps, all of that, you feel bad about yourself. Or some people will come up with a liberal argument saying, well, those women have autonomy, they chose that life. And then, because we have the argument, they chose that life, we don't have to feel bad for not intervening. In any case, you can get narcissistic supply by feeling bad about yourself in comparison to those women. Simple as that. And because you feel bad about yourself, you are more motivated to get along with other people around you, because you see yourself as the good people. And again, nobody wants to face the deep-rooted scandals of the community. So If the prostitution problem persists, and from time to time the police arrest one of those pimps, everyone can blame everything on the pimp. The pimp becomes the villain everyone is upset with. But nobody wants to talk about the fact that those women used to be little girls, little babies born in the community, and somewhere during their development were neglected. Who neglected them? The community did. So who is to blame for them being in that situation? The community is. Are there women who make bad decisions and end up in prostitution? Yes, there are. But overall, most of them don't want to be there. Overall, if you want to get out, they're hindered. Also because many of their customers are people with influence in the community. So, the community doesn't want to admit their own failure. They want to brush off the failure. And because the prostitute, in general, is a failure of the community, they want the prostitute gone. But they realize they can take advantage of the prostitute and get rid of the community's sexual anger. So that's why they want her around as a bad example to get our sex supply out of. And once she's not of good service anymore, they want her to get rid of. That's why a lot of victims of human trafficking seldom speak out. Because once they speak out, they get resistance from the common public, who does want to admit that this happened in their community. Because once they admit it's happened in their community, they also have to admit that they're the ones responsible for not noticing it and not doing anything about it. Let's go to the drug trade. Why do people take drugs? They take it from escaping. They take it as a means to avoid facing emotional injury or emotional trauma. Where did people accumulate all that emotional injury, all that emotional trauma? In their communities. That's where they were raised, so that's where they accumulate all those injuries. So if the community injures their own, the community must admit it, apologize, improve, so that it doesn't happen anymore. Does that often happen? No. If you've been neglected by the community, and you end up emotionally injured, and you're now above age 18, everyone says you're an adult now, and should stop blaming other people. Look, people kind of abandon you. So one way to self-medicate is taking drugs, which I don't recommend, I don't support, absolutely not. It's dangerous and also forbidden. However, because people are taking drugs, at least for the moment, they feel better. And because they feel better, they function like nothing goes on. Take away all the forbidden narcotics from the streets, and what do you get? More people malfunctioning in daily life. And when all those drug addicts malfunction in the open, it's going to reveal how neglectful and wasteful the community is. And nobody wants that to happen. So, the community is only upset with the drug dealers because the drug dealers are revealing how toxic they as a community are. Simple as that. The drug dealer is an open exploiter, taking advantage of the drug addicts. But what's the origin of the drug addicts? From the community. So the community neglected their own, they don't want to admit this, and now the drug dealer takes advantage of those who have been neglected. And that's why there's so many drug dealers out there still. How come there's so many police stations, so many police forces, but so many prisons and there's still drug dealers on the streets? It's because the community doesn't want it to be solved. Because once you remove all the drug dealers, you shut down all the drug cartels, that means that there's no illegal drugs on the streets anymore. So all those people who are damaged and craving self-medication, they will act out. And you could be surprised how many people are emotionally injured and damaged. Nobody wants that to become open. That's why you have nightclubs where people secretly take drugs. That's why they allow those festivals where also a lot of drugs is being used. Why? I'm not saying that every festival has drug use, okay? I've been to a few festivals myself. But what I'm saying is the problem is not meant to be solved. That's the attitude of the community, of society. They never intend to solve the problem. They just want damage control. So you have the open exploiters, and then you have the hidden exploiters. The hidden exploiters claim to be innocent. And because they claim to be innocent, they can pretend to be the victims of the problem, whether it's prostitution or drug trade or human trafficking, whatever it is. But once you look at the situation more carefully, you're going to realize, hold on a minute. This can only exist if the public is in on it. So look, let's say you have prostitution going on. Okay? A lot of the women of that community are neglected, they're injured. And now you have the pimps taking advantage of them. Pimps or lover boys taking advantage of them. Now, let's say you have a psychologist coming out with a YouTube series about emotional recovery. And let's say this psychologist goes viral on YouTube. Many prostitutes also have access to the internet and they see this series. And while looking at the series, they get convicted. They realize, oh my God, he's talking about me. They recognize what he is saying. And eventually, while listening to those YouTube videos, they experience therapy at a distance. And little by little, a lot of these women get the courage to call out the community. Now, do you think that the general public is going to be happy with this psychologist who went viral? Talk about emotional recovery. They should be happy. But here's the issue. A lot of the victims of the community that the community is openly neglecting will also see those viral videos and they will realize, hold on a minute, you guys are in on this. And the more of those victims get help through these viral videos, the more problems society will have, because now society cannot escape and play the victim anymore, and now they cannot blame it all on the pimp or the drug dealer or whatever, because now that psychologist who came out with that series about emotional recovery, his good quality is exposing the filth of the community. So the wider community will not be happy with him. There are going to be some individuals here and there being happy with them. Yes, praise God, someone is offering solutions. Now, first of all, the open exploiters will not be happy with him, because the pimp, the drug dealer, the lover boy, they will all miss out and lose out the more women recover emotionally. Same with drugs. I just use it as an example. If there is a problem somewhere, you cannot come with a solution to that problem without angering those who will leech off of the problem. If there's a problem somewhere, whether it's unemployment, whether it's a lot of diseases, whether it's prostitution, or a lot of criminality, whenever there is a problem going on, and it's a long-term problem, so it has persisted for long, that means the community is in on it. So people are leeching off of the problem, whether just on a psychological level, to narcissistic supply, or actually on a monetary level, by exploiting people financially. Anytime you address a problem, you will anger those who leech off of the problem. Because by addressing the problem alone, I'm not even talking about you offering a solution to the problem, but just addressing the problem, you will highlight that this problem is here, so the people leeching off of it. So that already will make people uncomfortable. When you operate or participate in a solution for the problem, you absolutely will anger the open exploiters, but also the hidden exploiters. And often, you don't even know who the hidden exploiters are. That's why they're hidden. Now, let's forget about public problems like prostitution, crime, all that. Let's look at you individually. Haven't you noticed that when you were struggling or you went through difficulties and things didn't seem to get better, haven't you noticed that back then some people were cool with you, talking to you and all of that, and suddenly now that things are going better with you, a lot of people unfriended you, blocked you, or simply avoid you? You would think that now that you're better, those same people who were around are going to be more happy for you and more motivated for you. But the fact that they leave you or act like you never existed, now that you're better off, means that they were the hidden exploiters leeching off of what you were going through. They may have been either the direct cause of what you went through, or they were the ones keeping it going. In any case, they were hidden exploiters, they were leeches leeching off of you being in a worse condition. That's why now that you're better off, they don't want to see you. They don't want to have this in their face. Why? Because at some point, it's going to be obvious towards all the bystanders that, hold on a minute, if you went through this difficulty for so long, what were the other people around you doing? What were they doing? And that's what I'm telling you. Hidden exploiters can even be your own parents, sometimes your children, sometimes even your spouse, or I hope that's not the case, or it can be close relatives, distant relatives. I don't think that it's the case in your situation, whoever's watching this, but it may be. Anyway, whenever there's a problem, there are open exploiters and there are hidden exploiters. It's one thing to be upset with the open exploiters. The open exploiters will even admit they're wrong. They know that what we're doing is wrong. But the open exploiters know very well that the only reason they can get away with this is because the public is not interested in solutions. That's why. Think about serial killers. Why do you think a lot of serial killers practice their murder sprees on prostitutes? Going all the way back in the 19th century, even before that. It's because those serial killers, they knew that the public couldn't care less about the well-being of those women that were neglected. That's why. And they were right. Why do you think certain child molesters, why do you think child molesters in general only go after certain types of children? Because the child molester knows if he molests a kid that's well taken care of, he's in big trouble. If he abuses or molests a child that is neglected, or a child from a group that people want to think about, he's more likely to get away with it. Simple as that. So, understand the following. You cannot participate in a solution without angering those who leech off of the problem that you're solving. Because the solution is for a problem that's there. If they're leeching off the problem, they're not going to be happy with you taking away their food supply. Simple as that. So, check around you. Don't become paranoid. Don't become hyper suspicious. Just understand. Whenever there's a problem, there are exploiters. Simple as that. Hidden exploiters and open exploiters. Have discernment and do not fall for the excuses of society. Please. That's why keep agreeing with Christ, walk by faith, operate in solutions, and discern what people are. Be at peace.